We make the best weapons in the world, and we've got a lot of them, and we've given a lot to Israel, frankly.
It was basically a celebration of genocide. Yeah. It was a horror show. It was grotesque and disgusting. And all the people that had perpetrated a genocide for 2 years, either directly or through military, financial, political support, were there having a party.
Yeah. If you do not have the belief in an almighty power who's going to hold these criminals, these Satanists, the Zionists to account, the killers of children, I think I'd just lose it. I'd just go insane. What's the point of living anymore, you know? I feel comfort knowing that these murderous, evil Satanists are going to get burned in hell. Yeah. You know, they're going to face a punishment, inshallah. There's no such thing as a proper ceasefire deal with Israel. It's just a deal that gets violated, where they kill more people and don't get attacked in return. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to another episode of Muslims Uncensored with me, Robert Carr, and Roshan Saleh. Now, I've conceded that Roshan knows fashion better than me, so I've gone for the Roshan look. Yeah, jumper and shirt look. I mean, I've coloured it up a bit. Yeah. You've gone for the dull navy.
I've only got about 3 jumpers in the world, so
I've gone for the Roshan look. I feel like, do you know what?
This is the old man look, isn't it?
If you can't change society, you may as well integrate. So I've integrated. We're doing the Roshan Saleh show today. Right. So Roshan, in the spirit of things.
First time anyone
you sit more like this. I'm just gonna have to.
That's the first time anybody has told me that they're following my fashion sense.
Yeah,
because I haven't got any fashion sense.
I just can't be bothered anymore, brothers and sisters. I've tried to lead the way.
Just wear what's comfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, just comfortable. Yeah, I don't know. But
pajamas.
I would if I could get away with it. I would. You know what I bought? I bought a onesie. You know those outdoor bricklaying things. Right. I just bought that and I wear that now at home. Might wear it to the show, just so you know. I know that's what everyone came here to watch and to learn. Is what I'm wearing at home. But yeah, there you go. We do actually have some topics. Comment. We do actually have some topics to discuss. I don't know what to say, Roshan. There's a lot going on. Gaza, of course, we've got the peace deal now, the Trump peace deal.
I wouldn't call it a peace deal. I think it's a ceasefire
so-called peace deal.
Yeah.
It's just, Gaza is in a terrible state, totally destroyed. Israel is violating the ceasefire, of course, as it always does. There's no such thing as a proper ceasefire deal with Israel. It's just a deal that gets violated, where they kill more people and don't get attacked in return. So Palestinians have been getting killed over the past 24, 48 hours, despite the deal. Hostages are being exchanged. Hamas has been required to disarm, but they've actually gone on a rampage, killing supporters of Israel that have been active in Gaza.
I wouldn't call it a rampage. I think they're just basically killing collaborators.
Executing people in the street, killing collaborators. There's been some gangster activity in Gaza amid the collapse of society there, and they've been shooting them in the street. But Trump's now coming out and saying, well, we need them to disarm. Don't mind them killing.
They're not going to disarm.
They don't mind them when they're killing Arab criminals, but we don't want them fighting Israel, of course. So he's emphasized you need to disarm in the second phase. But will Hamas disarm fully?
No.
They're saying they're not going anywhere. They're just retiring from political administration of Gaza for now. So Roshan, I mean, what do you make of the situation? Some people are celebrating, some people are not. I just think it's a bit of a mess, the situation.
I mean, alhamdulillah, it's nice that the Gazans have some relief, but I don't call it a peace deal. A peace deal means you solve the problem, and they haven't solved the problem. It's a ceasefire. It's probably a temporary ceasefire.
Relief's a strong word as well. They're still getting killed. The Gaza Strip's destroyed. They're not opening the Rafah border crossing. Aid is not really getting in. I don't know what to say, Roshan, about the situation.
Look, I don't think we should be celebrating, apart from the fact that Gazans aren't getting killed en masse every day like they have been for 2 years. And there's some relief for them.
They kind of are. Apparently they won't be.
No,
I don't know.
They're not getting killed in their hundreds and thousands like they have been.
I think like 100 people have been killed.
What, since the
ceasefire? Yeah.
Since the ceasefire. I thought it was dozens, but maybe it is 100. I'm not sure. Look, what I would say is that, I mean, I watched Trump's appearance in the Knesset on Monday, where he gave that speech. It was basically a celebration of genocide. Yeah. It was a horror show. it was grotesque and disgusting. And all the people that had perpetrated a genocide for 2 years, either directly or through military, financial, political support, were there having a party.
Yeah.
I mean, in the annals of history, this is unprecedented. Even the Nazis, after they committed a genocide, they didn't celebrate it publicly afterwards. In fact, they tried to hide aspects of what they did. These guys are proud of it.
Yeah.
You know, Pol Pot, all the genocides that you can think of, Rwanda in history, the perpetrators of it didn't hold a mass rally and a mass party and brag about it afterwards. We are dealing with the forces of Satan here. That's what's going on. It was an absolute horror show. I don't know what you made of it.
Yeah, it is. I must admit, I know that there are people out there, activists, religious leaders as well. You know, we shouldn't have a defeatist mentality. You know, that's something we should be against. You know, but honestly, right now, I think we're in such a dark spell of Muslim history. You know, we've had like the Golden Age. We've had periods of celebration where like the Ayyubid Caliphate defeated the Crusaders and stuff like that. And now I just think that the Muslim world is in such disarray and is so under attack and is so politically defeated completely. There's just nothing really to celebrate.
Well, look, I think we should dissect this, and it's something that I wanted to do today. Is actually, I know the war hasn't finished. I know the genocide, it hasn't finished yet, but we have a kind of pause. It might be a moment where we can reflect and go through the lessons of war. But before we do that, I just wanted to say that I think the first phase is the easiest phase, whereby they exchange prisoners. You saw a lot of the Israeli hostages being released, and they looked like in reasonably good shape. As far as I could see, they were treated pretty well and certainly probably had the same amount of food and care as average Gazans have had over the last 2 years. You saw the Palestinian hostages being released. They all told tales of torture. They looked gaunt. They looked starved. You could see marks of torture on them as well.
Some of them came back and their families have been killed. Like there was one guy I saw released, this brother here. He was a hostage held in an Israeli dungeon, has just been released as part of the deal. He's come back to Gaza. All his children have been blown to bits by Israel. They've been annihilated by Israel.
And he was hysterical because of that, obviously.
And I mean, there are some people. I remember outside the Palestinian embassy in London, now that the UK has recognised Palestine as if that's some kind of big deal. Palestine's always been there, whether the UK bloody recognises it or not. That's who the Israelis are killing, the Palestinians, and the UK is helping them with that. People were celebrating it like, yeah, this is a great victory for the Palestinians. It's like, really? Does that look like a victory to you? Does that look like a bloody victory to you? Do you feel like all those dead Palestinian babies have kind of like, they haven't died in vain because what? Bloody Keir Starmer recognises you. And there were Muslims out there like celebrating. What the hell are you celebrating, you idiot?
These are all people, these are all PA people, aren't they? Fatah people with a stake in the future reconstruction of Gaza.
Labour, Muslim Network, those types.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so sick. I'm so traumatised. No one cares. Obviously, you know, my feelings don't matter. The Palestinians are the ones who are really traumatised.
Yeah.
But I just can't help but feel like it's hard to explain, Roshan, but you know, people are like celebrating or just surviving the genocide is like a victory. I just can't see it that way because I'm just like, the Muslim world is so weak, it's destroyed.
This is what we need to speak
Normally
about.
I'm the kind that's like Muslim empowerment and regardless of what's going on, there's always some strong way we can sort of project and say, no, Muslim empowerment this, Muslim empowerment that. I just can't see it. Politically, we're so weak and pathetic.
Well, it's a wake-up call.
It's the first time in my life I'm actually attacking Muslims here because I'm like, look how pathetic we are.
We deserve to be attacked because we failed the Palestinians. But we can view this one way. We can cry our eyes out and be depressed and do nothing say, woe is me, or we can use this as an opportunity to rebuild. Because I think this is a massive wake-up call for Muslims in general, for the Ummah. And this is what I think we need to discuss on this episode is what lessons have we learned and how are we going to rebuild so something like this never happens again. But I just want to, before we move on, I want to just say that the first bit is the easy bit. The next bit are the hard bit. Hamas will not disarm. They've said that they will only disarm if there is a viable Palestinian state, and then they'll give them the weapons to that Palestinian state. Now, we all know that the West and Israel has no intention of that Palestinian state emerging. They want to basically destroy Gaza completely, subjugate the people. The only concession that they will give is that they won't kick all the Palestinians off their land, but they want them to be slaves, like the West Bank Palestinians are slaves. They want a proxy force in there that will do their dirty work for them. So the Palestinians of Gaza have been a people with izzah, with dignity, with honor and pride, and they will not accept to live as slaves. That's why October the 7th happened. So I think talk of celebration and the war is over is very premature at the moment. Let's see what happens in the weeks and months to come. But I don't rule out more war happening in the future and in the near future as well. Yeah.
There is a major story which has broken as well, another very sad one from Gaza. Very well known, internationally famous and renowned Palestinian journalist, Saleh Al Jafarawi. He's been killed. He was killed in Gaza after the ceasefire deal. So he survived the 2 years of genocide and he's now been killed. His brother was released from Israeli dungeons and learned after the fact that his brother has been killed. But
he was killed by the gangs, right? He wasn't killed by Israel, but by the pro-Israeli gangs.
Pro-Israel gangs. So it's been basically said that Israel indirectly killed him as part of their ongoing war on journalism. So yeah, really heartbreaking. I think it's just, it's lucky that the Palestinians have Islam. I feel lucky that I have Islam because when you're faced with this evil, if you do not have the belief in an almighty power who's going to hold these criminals, these Satanists, the Zionists to account, the killers of children, I think I'd just lose it. I'd just go insane. What's the point of living anymore, you know? I feel comfort knowing that these murderous, evil Satanists are going to get burned in hell. Yeah. You know, they're going to face a punishment, inshallah. And I pray for that punishment to come sooner.
That's what I was saying about,
it's up to Allah,
both Donald Trump and Netanyahu are old men. Donald Trump is nearly 80, and I think Netanyahu is about 75. So whatever way you look at it, in, let's say, 10 or 20 years max, or probably less than that, they're going to be dead. All right? We all have short lifespans. So the smirks they have on their face now, we as Muslims believe that they are going to await the punishment of hell. I think Trump himself said that he's not going to get to heaven. He said that on Air Force One yesterday. Really? He was asked about that, and he said, I don't think I'm going to get to heaven. We believe in Allah Almighty. We know the words of the Quran are true, and therefore we know as a fact that these people are not going to make it to heaven and that they're going to burn in hell for eternity. May Allah hasten that punishment on them.
Yeah, it's very, very depressing. But yeah,
but I think if we get to the lessons, just kind of following on from what you said, the first lesson I think that we've learned from this is that the Palestinians are the chosen people. The Jews call themselves the chosen people. For me, the chosen people are the Palestinians. They are lions. They are heroes. They are the pride of this ummah. Yeah. And the ones that have been martyred, I sincerely believe, are experiencing the joys and the reward of their Lord right now. And the ones that have displayed this sumud, this steadfastness, are a lesson to us all, and they've kept their faith in Allah. Maybe they haven't kept their faith in the Ummah because we failed them, but they've kept their faith in Allah. They have shown us the most sterling example. They put us all to shame. Those of us who live in the West, lives of comfort, have done hardly anything for them. Muslims all around the world have failed them. But they've shown us what a true Muslim is, and their example is unbelievably inspiring.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it. I don't believe or put trust in the Ummah anymore, but in Allah and Islam, and yeah, that's where I put my trust, you know. That's the only one who's been there to help them is Allah, you know, during this whole genocide. No one else has helped them but Allah.
What else would you say?
There is, just before we move on, obviously, Pakistan is in the news. We're going to talk more about Pakistan because of the conflict with
well, Muslim leaders. This is the second thing. Sorry to interrupt you, Robert, but I wanted to get onto this because this is another lesson that we've learned, is that Muslim leaders are Muslim Zionists, ultimately. And, I mean, obviously we have the blatant Muslim Zionists like the UAE, which is the most egregious, blatant example of what it is to sell out and to aid the kuffar in the slaughter of our brothers and sisters. But we can expand that to virtually all of them, even the ones that went for this deal. You know, this is basically a surrender deal, and they all signed off on it, including the disarmament of the Palestinians, leaving them at the mercy of these vultures. But I think this guy exemplifies what it is to suck up to power. A national embarrassment for Pakistan, quite frankly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today, again, I would like to nominate this great president for Nobel Peace Prize because I genuinely feel that he is the most genuine and most wonderful candidate for Peace Prize because he has brought not only peace in South Asia, saved millions of people, their lives. And today, here in Sharm el-Sheikh, achieving peace in Gaza is saving millions of lives in the Middle East. Mr. President, I would like to salute you for your exemplary leadership, visionary leadership. And I think that you're the man this world needed most at this point in time. World would always remember you as a man who...
Please stop this, Robert. I won't go throw up.
...went out of the way to top 7 and today 8 wars.
I kind of feel like how the Italian Prime Minister looks.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. She couldn't even like stop. She was like doing this weird thing. She was like holding her mouth. I don't know if she was like trying not to laugh.
I mean,
or if she was like, oh my God, this is so cringe. But she was just holding her mouth the whole time. Her face is how I feel watching this. Just
butt
like
kissing.
Yeah, it's really
licking.
Gross. Really gross. She could probably taste it. It's
just an embarrassment of Pakistan. I think, I mean, obviously, look, Donald Trump is a man, ever since he got into power, he's been backing Israel to the hilt. You know, so probably, I mean, I know Biden started it, but he's definitely responsible for tens of thousands of Palestinian deaths, at least. And just because he gets to, you know, sign a peace deal when he can see that things are getting a little bit out of control and that his own personal financial interests in the Gulf are threatened by what Israel is doing, you know, just because he gets this ceasefire into effect doesn't make him the Nobel Peace Prize laureate. But I also should say, so Donald Trump deserves no credit. He's as guilty as all of them. And he's just stopped this for his own personal interests because, you know, he has trillions of or billions of pounds probably invested or dollars invested in the Gulf region. Shebaz Sharif is not elected by the Palestinian people. We should remember this, okay? Pakistani people did not elect him. He got into power after the coup against Imran Khan, and a deal was done in Parliament between the landowners who basically own half the country and the army to get him into power. When an election was held, it was rigged for a start, but still, despite the rigging, most people voted for Imran Khan's party. And again, through a backdoor deal done in Parliament between the landowners, the feudal landlords, and the army, they got him back into power again. So I do not blame the Pakistani people for this arse liquor and boot liquor and national embarrassment. It's a stitch up that has been imposed on the Pakistani people.
He would win the gold if that was an Olympic championship competition, wouldn't it? Arse licking.
For arse licking.
Yeah, he would win the gold medal hands down. Repeat winner as well. But yeah, my God, what an embarrassment. It was so cringy, so hard to watch. Oh, it just made me coil up. I feel like some kind of snail.
Our leaders,
shell,
I'm sorry,
watching that.
I'm sorry people are going to have a go at me for this, but our leaders need to be overthrown. You know, and they're not our leaders. They're imposed on us. All the Gulf leaders, the leaders of all these nations that have, you know, sucked up to Israel, aided Israel, or done nothing. We need to have a clean out.
We certainly, we have something coming. May not be a clean out, but it is a war.
We should just say a few more things, though, I think, in terms of the lessons that we've learned. There are so many. And I actually did a tweet and I got a lot of good answers. And I think we need to do it a bit more justice before we move on, Robert, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think what I would say is this is a wake-up moment for the Ummah. We have proved that we were unable to stop a genocide. We have proved that we are politically weak. We are militarily weak. We are financially weak. Well, actually, financially, we do have money. We just don't give it to the right causes. The Ummah is divided. It is impotent. And, you know, everything that we have done has not been enough. We've done protests. We've done boycotts. Yes, I think we have moved the dial a little bit when it comes to public opinion. Even now, for the first time in the West, in Britain and even in America, for the first time, the general public has more sympathy for the Palestinians than they do for the Israelis. That is a seismic shift, and I do believe that some of the PR work that we've done has contributed to that. But nevertheless, we have been unable to stop a genocide. We have been unable to get one strawberry, one, you know, glass of water into Gaza. And that is an indictment of the Ummah. And I think, brothers and sisters, we need to use this moment as a wake-up call. Either we can just say we can give up and, you know, the Kafar have won, the Zionists have won, the Hindutva have won. We can say that, or we can use this as a wake-up call to rebuild and to say, this is never going to happen again, because we are going to be financially stronger, militarily stronger, politically stronger, stronger in every way, our hard power and our soft power. And that's what we need to do now. We need to rebuild.
Yeah, inshallah. Let's see how it goes. I think there's a good comment.
We need a khilafah. And ultimately, we need a khilafah as a shield. And we also need to realize that we need to liberate Palestine. You know, we need to not lose sight of that goal. We have to have the same goals that we had before this genocide started. And that is the complete liberation of historic Palestine, for Islam ultimately to rule over Palestine. These are the goals, and for the end of Zionism.
Yeah.
And if we accept anything less, then we are saying that the Zionists have won. Israel has won.
Yeah.
America has won. So we are not defeated until we surrender, okay? And we must not surrender.
Yeah, inshallah. Let's see. Yeah, it's just hard to see any positives coming in the near future. So maybe, you know, it's like the Syria situation, you know, like out of nowhere, Assad just went. You know, it was like an overnight transition. I was told by someone actually recently that Islam, that's how Allah works. You know, it doesn't, we always imagine like a slow, gradual build up to success. But actually, Allah's miracles are like an overnight snap thing.
Yeah.
When Allah wills it to happen, it happens. When Allah decides it's time for it to be destroyed, Allah's going to make it happen. You know, that's how Allah's magnificence
But at the same
works.
time, so we have to work. I mean, before we go on, I mean, I am going to read out a few of the ideas that I was given by our audience, basically.
Go for it.
That we haven't covered. And yeah, I mean, the overall sentiment that I was getting in my feedback is that the Palestinians are heroes. The West is evil. We have to understand that we live in an evil place. And I'm talking about the political structures here and the financial structures, even the media. It has played its role in this genocide. But at the same time, we have to also admit that millions of non-Muslims in this country came out and marched for Palestine. And there's no doubt about that. And everything I say has to be tempered by, you know, when I'm talking about the West being evil, I'm talking about the structures of the West are without doubt evil and genocidal. But that doesn't mean that ordinary people in the West, including non-Muslims, are evil. I'm not trying to say that. Israel, obviously, we've seen it's a satanic force, Robert. It's a demonic force. We're not dealing with normal people here. We're dealing with demons. That's what I would say. The forces of Satan, and they enjoy impunity in the world today. The Ummah is divided. It's weak. We need our militaries to be stronger, our intelligence. Our media game is too weak. We need to dominate the information space like never before, because, soft power is as important as hard power, and one leads to the other. Our Islamic mindset is weak. We need to focus on getting away from secular nationalism and to double down on our Islamic mindset so the Ummah can wake up and respond. Jihad ultimately was always the solution, but we were too scared to talk about it. We were too scared to do it. But even non-Muslims, like the president of Colombia, was saying that ultimately, in his own way, he was saying jihad is the solution. And that military component, that military pressure needs to be kept up against Israel. There's no justice in this world. People were saying, funding the wrong things. People were saying that as well, that, Zionist billionaires like Miriam Edelson, I think her name was, who was at the Knesset. What is she funding? Is she funding aid missions? I'm not saying we shouldn't fund aid missions, but she's not funding that. She's funding political causes.
She's on the offensive.
She's funding media. She's funding the information space. Okay? So the Zionist billionaires, that's what they're doing. They're funding politics, think tanks, media. What are the Muslim billionaires doing? They're building tall buildings. They're buying football clubs. I mean, where are we putting our money? As people are going to think I'm begging for 5 pillars here. No, forget about 5 pillars, right? We need to be strategic with the money we have, and we have loads of money. We're putting it in the wrong places, and that's why we can't stop a genocide. Yeah. And also, we need to sacrifice and take risks. That's the last thing that people were telling me is that ultimately we're too comfortable in our little world, especially us in the West. And we're averse to risk-taking. But ultimately, we're going to die soon. And we're going to meet our Lord. What are we going to say to our Lord? We're going to say, we stood by and we went on demos while the Zionists were slaughtering the Palestinians with the ultimate aim of taking Masjid al-Aqsa.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some good advice. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I just think that, you know me, Roshan, once someone steps up and does something good, I'm all for it and I back it, and we're willing to take risks at 5 pillars. But right now, I just can't see any group or force or, there's just no momentum behind an initiative with all of these good ideas that are out there that people are talking about online. I just don't see anyone pursuing it, So inshallah, a day will come, someone will rise up and make some meaningful push. I think we're just badly led, aren't we? So yeah, inshallah, let's see how it goes. I mean, here's another example. We've got 2 Muslim majority countries at each other's throats.
Yeah.
The Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan clashing in major armed battles along the border with Pakistan. There was a recent clash, the second this week, where the 2 powers have been attacking each other. And this comes amid deteriorating relations between the 2. Roshan, you've been to Afghanistan. You know the region really, really well. You might be able to provide some more context to this.
Been to Pakistan as well.
Yeah, you've been to Pakistan as well. So yeah, what's really going on here? Why have these 2 sides fallen out so badly?
Well, look, I think the first thing we should say is that none of us want war between 2 Muslim nations. So this needs to de-escalate. Whatever the rights and wrongs of the situation, we might get into some of those at the moment. In a moment, but the main thing I want to say is that we cannot have Pakistan and Afghanistan, 2 Muslim nations, fighting each other. No Muslim nations anywhere in the world should be fighting each other. So massive mediation needs to go on between people that have the best interests of Afghanistan and Pakistan at heart. I'm not talking about the West here. I'm talking about Muslim nations. Massive kind of, maybe the Middle Eastern countries can have some kind of role here because they both fund both countries to some extent or another, so that we don't see an escalation of what's happening at the moment and it can be contained. My sympathies are with Afghanistan. simply because I believe that the leadership of that country are sincere Muslims. I don't believe the leadership of Pakistan are sincere Muslims. I think that from the Afghan point of view, they see a country that is trying to dominate Afghanistan, that doesn't want Afghanistan to be independent, a country that aided and abetted the NATO occupation of Afghanistan over many years, a country that has meddled continually in Afghanistan and sees Afghanistan as its backyard, a country whose military is corrupt and tied to the Americans. From the Pakistani point of view, they see the TTP, which is basically the Pakistani Taliban, having safe haven in Afghanistan, conducting attacks over the border, which I think is going on. And they feel as though they can't tolerate that. Now, there may be some truth in that as well. I'm not 100% sure, but it does look as though they have found some kind of safe haven in Afghanistan. Whether the Afghan government can control them or not, is another matter. But I just think that this needs to stop, and they both might have grievances here. The Pakistanis would say, "Oh, we created the Taliban. We helped you guys come into power historically, etc., etc." The Afghans will say, "Yeah, but you also tortured our leaders. You sold many of our leaders to the Americans, and they went to Guantanamo." So my sympathies lie more with the Afghans here, but I can see some of what the Pakistanis have to say has some truth to it.
What do you make of the fact that the Islamic Emirate seems to be opening the door to better relations with India?
Yeah, it's important to say that.
Especially at a time when there's a lot of oppression of Muslims in India as well.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that. I mean, look, I think the trip by the foreign minister of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan to India, it was a planned trip. I think the Pakistani media have made a lot of it, trying to say that there's some kind of deep alliance between Afghanistan and India. I don't think there is. I think it was a normal trip. The IEA is desperate for foreign recognition. It's going to Russia, it's going to China, it's going to Iran, it's going all over the world, quite frankly, trying to find that recognition. They're in a very weak spot. I don't think there is a military alliance between India and Afghanistan, but at the same time, Hindutva India is an enemy of the Muslims. So the optics don't look good, and I hope that relationship doesn't deepen. But I think if Pakistan is going to threaten Afghanistan with military action, then inevitably Afghanistan will go to whoever is willing to help it. And India probably is willing to help it. They embedded themselves during the NATO occupation into Afghanistan. They obviously consider Pakistan to be an enemy. So I think this I wouldn't call it alliance, but this maybe future alliance between Afghanistan and India needs to be averted. But it won't be averted if Afghanistan feels as though it's under threat. So there's a lot of things to talk about here, and possibly genuine grievances on both sides. Time for proper mediation.
Yeah, let's see how things
and
develop.
De-escalation.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, the Muslim world is really in a bad state. I mean, I think from the Muslim perspective, a lot of people are looking to the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan and even to Syria as well as kind of like the new players on the scene who we might be able to like and get behind, because obviously they have religious leadership. They're trying to establish an Islamic Emirate here, and they talk about Islam as well as other issues. But again, it's like they don't control their airspace. They're economically weak, war-torn. So, we're just not in a position of strength at all. So obviously things like this are going to happen, where you get IEA officials visiting countries you don't like. Maybe they'll have to do a relationship with China, with Russia, and these types of countries. Yeah. And obviously we can sit here and complain, but we're in a really bad state. The Ummah is just in a really bad state. So this idea that, we should be strong and take on the whole world, we just don't have the capability, Not until Allah gives us
I always said, even when I came back from Afghanistan the first time I visited, Dilly asked me a question. This was back in 2002, I think. Sorry, 2022. And he asked me a question. He said, what should we expect of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan? And I said, not much, because they're in such a weak position that inevitably they're going to have to make some political compromises that we don't like and they don't like.
Yeah.
And they've stabilized the situation somewhat 3 years on, but it's obvious that there are countries that do not like the fact that they are trying to be Islamic and independent, and will do anything they can to take them down.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to bring us over to the UK.
Okay.
There's a couple of stories here which I think we should discuss before we end up finishing the show.
We've got 25 minutes left.
There's an activist here, a pro-Palestine activist, a brown Muslim woman who has again been arrested by police for using the forbidden fruit word that we're not allowed to
bounty.
say.
Bounty bar.
Yeah, so she's used this word that apparently is banned in Britain.
Coconut.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, Roshan, you'll be in jail by the end of the show. But she said coconut, and she's now been carted off to a police station. She might go to Guantanamo. She might face life in jail. I don't know. The UK is very oppressive. It's a police state. And now Cage International have mobilised. They've probably got a new lawsuit to fight. This is a repeat of what has already happened. I think it was last year, right? Or is it this year even?
About a year ago, yeah.
Another pro-Palestine activist was also put on trial for using the same word, but she won. She won. And just months later, this whole thing is playing out again. So you would have thought that a precedent would have been set that finally allowed a bit of breathing space for free speech in this country. But no, the police are acting on behalf of Israel. I think she called someone on TikTok a coconut who was pro-Israel or something like that. We're waiting to see how the story develops, get all the full details.
Look, this has already been
it's ridiculous.
This has already been tried and tested in court, and it's already been ruled that calling someone a coconut for political satire reasons is not a criminal offence. So what the police are doing in arresting this woman again is crazy. I hope this goes nowhere.
Yeah, so there you've got the headline there. So this was the trial which we covered on 5 Pillars. The sister here.
So why are we using a BBC? If we covered it on 5 Pillars, why are we using a BBC headline?
It doesn't come up. I Google it and it doesn't come up. So what can I say?
Right.
But yeah, if you support 5 Pillars, maybe we'll come up higher on
even
Google
Robert.
searches.
Even Robert's like, enthralled to the BBC.
I'm a Treya, yeah. What can I say? Well, there you go. So we've got that story to keep an eye on. Again, it's an important one. They're attacking Palestine free speech. All these free speech crusaders that hate, coincidentally, also are pro-Israel and hate Islam.
Yeah.
They're the biggest anti-free speech activists that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because
the
whole anti-free speech narrative started when Israel began attacking pro-Palestine academics.
Yeah.
That's where this whole came from. The whole culture war came from Israel. So sorry to blame Israel every single time, but Israel is the reason that free speech of Western citizens is being attacked.
Yeah.
But they claim now, they've spun it, where apparently they're warriors to defend free speech.
And we know very well that if Reform UK come in, they're going to try to...
They hate free speech as well.
They're going to try to shut down loads of free speech.
They love free speech, except the speech they don't like. So they love free speech until you say something they don't agree with.
Yeah.
Especially brown Muslims. They hate brown Muslims who actually speak English, even though they claim that they want them to speak English. The second they do speak English and say something they don't like, they want to chuck them in jail or deport them. That is the future of Britain. So brilliant. Yeah, what a wonderful country we live in, where you go to jail for tweets. Okay, we got our... Now, Roshan, I'm sorry, but how do you want me to cover this story? We're not allowed... Apparently it's outside of our lane if we just say... the facts here. We're not allowed, we're not qualified to do takfir on people, right?
Right.
So what am I supposed to do here? So this is a so-called Muslim mayor praising and being respectful to a pagan idol.
It's putting a garland on an idol during a Diwali ceremony.
Which is exactly what Hindus do. So tell me, a guy doing a Hindu thing is somehow a Muslim mayor. He's not a Hindu.
All right, what he's doing here is... Look, I'll say he's committing shirk. This is shirk. This is associating partners with Allah. This is haram. This is shirk, and he needs to repent for what he's done.
That's the thing with Sadiq Khan. He is... being peddled by right-wingers who hate Islam. They're saying, we have a Muslim mayor who's bringing Islamism to the UK streets, and there is an agenda by Muslims to take over this country and to put Sharia on London streets. And in reality, we have like a Hindu mayor. I've never seen him do a damn Muslim thing.
Well, he does hold Ramadan in the park, doesn't he, or Eid in the park? Look, what I would say is that we should stop thinking of Sadiq Khan as the Muslim mayor of London. He's just the mayor of London, and he's very liberal in his attitudes. I mean, people are going to have a go at me. I personally don't even consider the guy Muslim. Because he knows what Islam says and he continually goes against it again and again.
That's the thing.
That's the definition. He commits acts of kufr. So I personally don't even think of him as a Muslim.
That's the thing, yeah. Like, again, we're going to get condemned because we're saying things that are forbidden. We're not allowed to. But the thing is, it's like Allah gave me common sense, right? I know I'm not a scholar, and normally I wouldn't go anywhere near a scholar's remit, right? I'm not allowed to. And I get that. I respect scholars. You know me. I don't like to go outside my lane. But I have common sense as well. Allah gave me a brain, which is like capable of contextualizing what's going on around me. This guy walks like a Hindu, talks like an LGBT guy, and what, I'm supposed to go around and report like for 5 pillars, London Muslim mayor does Ramadan
I don't call him Muslim mayor.
I mean, it's like the Ramadan lights as well. I mean, it's like, that's like a Christian thing anyway, hanging up lights and whatnot. I just don't know what else to say, Roshan. So we're probably going to get in trouble for this, as if we're the ones in the wrong. Mr. I represent everyone and free love LGBT man here, who's a so-called Muslim mayor of London. And the repeat is going to happen again in New York, probably. We've got the same thing. And the problem is, Roshan, is that these people go out there and say, I'm Muslim, to anyone who will be bothered to listen to him. They go to every journalist, I'm a Muslim this, I'm a Muslim that. The right wing go, yeah, he is a Muslim, he's an Islamist. Yeah. But then he goes out and does stuff like this.
This is my issue, Robert, is that if he was a non-Muslim doing all this, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But the fact is that people continually associate him with Islam. He himself says, I'm Muslim.
Yeah, I'm Muslim.
And in the media, everyone calls him the Muslim mayor of London, and the far right consider him Muslim. And he's committing these acts which are completely against Islam. And I just feel that he is leading Muslims astray. Because there are a lot of Muslims without much knowledge of Islam as well. They're growing up with, they're nominally Muslim, and they'll see this and they think it's fine. So I would rather have a non-Muslim guy as a mayor than a Muslim.
I'm just losing
Sheikh, Astra, I don't know whether you saw the video of Sheikh Astra. He basically said something like, maybe you can play it out or not. Again, it's a bit controversial, but he basically said, I'd rather have non-Muslim politicians in power than Muslim politicians, because the Muslim ones are all sellouts. They're all kind of given a bad impression of what Islam is. So it's probably better living in this society to have non-Muslims in power, but maybe with leftist pro-Muslim views rather than Muslims doing it.
Just leave the whole Islam thing alone, please. Just leave it alone. Be mayor, be the bloody king's little poodle if you want. Do whatever you want. No one cares. You can rub up and French kiss any statue you want. Just leave Islam alone. Stop telling everyone who'll be bothered to listen to you, I'm Muslim this, I'm Muslim that. And freaking having a war of words with Trump and other Islamophobes about how great you are for being a Muslim mayor, when you don't do a damn thing for the community that you claim to represent, or you actually do some hindrance.
He doesn't represent us.
No, he does. I mean,
but Muslims vote in their droves for him.
I've never met a Muslim. Okay, I've met Muslims who are maybe... I would even go as far as to say that you could be anti-Palestine as a Muslim and not necessarily be out of the fold of Islam, You get Muslims that are like, they're not down for supporting Palestine or whatever, and they're still Muslim. I've never met a Muslim who would say that they would happily...
He doesn't have to do that,
idol.
Robert, as well.
It's like, that's the whole thing about Islam,
He doesn't have to do that as well. I mean,
We don't like idols.
He could just, I mean, this is shirk. This shirk is the one...
Prophet destroyed statues.
Robert, shirk is the one sin that Allah will not forgive. So I'm worried about his own iman here and his own akhirah. And he doesn't have to do that. He could just hold Diwali in the park. He could turn up and he could just watch on and nod his head. He doesn't have to put garlands on idols.
Yeah, I guess if we're going to be fair, we should... I don't know why we should be fair. There's nothing fair about this. Some people say, he represents all minorities. He's a Muslim mayor, but he has minorities to take care of. You don't want to answer that?
No, not really. I think it's been answered millions of times. And if Muslims are still going to vote for this guy, then more fool them.
Well, to be honest, we've covered all the show, the topics I wanted to discuss. The only other one which I think deserves a passing mention is just the fact that there's been this oppression of protesters in India who have been engaged in the I Love Muhammad campaign. It comes off the back of Maulid al-Nabi, which is a celebration of the birthday of the Holy Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not all Muslims engage with it, but obviously many do. And Muslims in India who have been engaging in this campaign have faced a massive crackdown. It's gone viral online. People have been talking about it. Some really disturbing stories are coming out of India about it. Muslims being attacked, beaten up, arrested, having their banners ripped up, all for expressing love for our beloved Prophet. But unfortunately, because of situation going on elsewhere like Gaza, it hasn't been reported as much as it should have been. So I just wanted to put it in our show before we end up, Roshan. Obviously, this is a continuation of Hindutva violence and Islamophobia. And, regardless of whether you celebrate the Mawlid or not, I think everyone needs to, pray for Muslims in India because they're being oppressed.
This was actually, again, you're using a different newspaper, but it was actually the top story on our website over the last month was an article about how the Hindutva authorities had cracked down on these I Love Muhammad processions, and I think it got viewed, it got read over 100,000 times. It's an incredible amount. It went absolutely viral. But yeah, just what more can you say? Just I pray for our brothers and sisters in India. They're being systematically oppressed to a level that we're only seeing. The only worst example probably is in Gaza, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, there we go.
There's one more story that we should just briefly mention. I'll just do it really quickly, and that is the verdict against this Quran burner. I think that came in on Friday. Maybe we can just put some pictures out over as I'm talking about it. But Hamid, finally, Robert finds a story from the Five Pillars website. Hamid Koskun, who is a Turkish Quran burner, an atheist and Islamophobe, and he was convicted, not for burning the Quran, because there are no blasphemy laws in the UK, but he was convicted of a public order offence. But it went to appeal, and obviously we had high-profile backers like the National Secular Society and Robert Jenrick, the Conservative MP, back in his case. They would never back a Torah burner, but they are happy to back a Quran burner. And the judge called Ben Nathan, no comment, was found that basically he didn't commit a public order offence, and he let him off. So,
it's a war on Islam.
Burning a Quran in public, in a public place outside the Turkish consulate, is a massive propagation in my book, and for me, that's a public order offence, clear as day. But there will be no appeal. So basically, a British judge has opened the door to Quran burning in public and massive Islamophobia. That's the state of the UK.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they want a race war or some kind of holy war. I mean, there was that far-right demo which we covered the last Tommy Robinson one in central London. He invited a really nasty piece of work from America, Valentina Gomez, and she burned the Quran just days before coming to London, where she literally, there's no other way to describe it, she literally called for Christian warriors and white people in this country to engage in a new crusade. And what does that mean? I mean, the Crusades were where white men from Europe went to the Middle East and massacred Muslims in some kind of holy war to retake the Holy Land and to establish Christian rule over that land. So that's what she was calling for. And she was allowed her visa to come in. She was allowed on stage. No police the police did not even attempt to question her at all or stop her or, deal with her in any sense of the word. She's probably going to come back. And yeah, we just live in a broken Britain now where Muslims, I think, really face a threat here. Britain is dangerous. We always hear about how Britain is dangerous for Jews and it's anti-Semitic everywhere. I think the Muslims, really, it's not safe in Britain for you right now. We have to be honest about that. And Quran burning is just one manifestation of how dangerous it is for Britain, for Muslims in Britain now. So yeah, there you go. Well, there we go, everyone, brothers and sisters. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share and subscribe. It helps the channel immensely. And until next time, please leave your comments in the comment section below. We always read them back and appreciate the feedback. Assalamu alaikum for now.